I made some great robocalls. They were vicious. Oh, they were brutal. They gave me the most pathetic thing to say. I said, I can't say this, I'll ruin my reputation. It was like, if you're listening, would you please back Mitt Romney? He's a wonderful fellow. I said, if I say that, so I really hit him hard with, you know, how good Mitt is, how bad everything else is, and they were great. They did very well. And anyway, every single state that they asked me to go to or do some phone calls or do some television, he won in the primaries. But when it came to the election, the general election, I think they felt that was a little controversial. Okay? I really do. And I didn't mind, you know, to be honest. I didn't need, I love Florida, I'm there all the time, but I didn't need to go on television talking about Mitt Romney. If I'm talking about somebody, I'd much rather talk about myself, to be honest with you. It's hard for me, it's true. It's very hard for me to build up somebody else, you know, but what the hell. But he was a good man. But something happened. Something happened. The whole thing. The first debate, it was looking good, and then the second debate, it was like a total collapse, and the third debate was a total disaster. Benghazi is a disgrace. You know, the worst part about Benghazi was that we didn't send anybody in to get these bad people. There's no retribution. And I hear we know who they are. And we don't send anybody in. How pathetic is that? They kill our ambassador, who, by the way, was proudly riding in the Jeep, the open Jeep, weeks before, as the rebels, you know, like Gone with the Wind, these wonderful rebels, the wonderful rebels, as they're taking over, and he's proudly going through the streets, waving to everybody. And then what they did to him was unbelievable. I mean, the killing was terrible, but the way they killed him, from what I understand, was beyond. And we don't have, and of course, the other gentleman, we don't have retribution. We don't even go in and get them. Why are we getting them? And we know who they are. And in a certain way, that is just something that is unacceptable. So with Mitt, so they ran, something happened, the subject, and we all remember that Benghazi was brought up, and Mitt essentially said that the president was handling Benghazi well. I almost fell off my chair when I heard that answer, as probably most of you did. And just a lot of bad things happened during that campaign. Karl Rove spent $400 million on ads. He didn't win an election. By the way, they were the worst ads I've ever seen. I know something about ads. I saw some of these ads. And even the Republican Party, generally speaking, the ads were so bad. Do you remember the ad with Obama speaking in Germany? Where they said, we don't want a rock star as a president. He was speaking in front of hundreds of thousands of people. And they put that on, and they have him speaking, and you get these people going crazy in Germany, shouting, yeah, great. And I said, what a great ad. I thought Obama made it. We made it. But wait, not me. You made it. I said, what a great ad. What a great ad. That ad's vintage. Remember they were saying he's a rock star. We don't want a rock star as president. Actually, we do want a rock star. That's what we need somebody that's great. That ad was a disaster. But all of the ads, it was so bad. So $430 some odd million was thrown out the window. Thrown out the window. Like nothing. So the Republicans have to get smart. They actually have a tougher race. I am a Republican, proudly, and I'm a very conservative Republican. But they have, and by the way, I am pro-life. Traditional marriage. And Second Amendment, 100%. You know, it's amazing. They want to take away guns. But they're not going to take them away from the bad guys. So everybody's going to give, every honorable, honest, good, solid is going to give up their gun. Okay, we're going to give it up because the law says give it up, right? The bad guys aren't giving it up. So what are we going to do? They walk into your house. It's like, take whatever you want, sir. So I don't understand it. And you know, I have really some smart friends. I don't want to mention names, but people that you know that are, you know, they disagree with me on this subject. I don't understand them. I don't even understand them. How can they do that? How can they disagree? It's like there are many things. When we wasted, and most importantly the 4,000 lives or more, and by the way, thousands on the other side, hundreds of thousands on the other side. When we were in Iraq, and we spent $1.5 trillion, and we have third world airports, bridges falling down. I was saying before about China building bridges. Our bridges are falling down. When was the last time you saw a bridge? Other than in San Francisco, they're building the Bay Bridge. You know who's building it? The Chinese. The Chinese. And it's got hundreds of millions of dollars of cost overruns. And I guarantee they're making plenty of money on that bridge. It's the only bridge I know. And the Chinese are building it. But you go to LaGuardia Airport in New York. You go to Kennedy Airport in New York. You go to LAX. You look at these airports, it's like coming, and I travel all over the world, so I see some of the greatest airports in the world, brand new, gorgeous, like you wouldn't believe. And then you come back home to New York, and you see this place that's broken, bad runways, disgusting buildings, broken floors, broken tile ceilings coming down. And I say, what are we doing? And we've made other countries rich. You know, we have rebuilt China. What China spends on building 40 bridges and building airports in every city that are better than any of our airports. Take our best airport. It's not as good as their worst airport. They did it with us. They did it with our money because the money goes out. You know, hey, I love Apple. It's wonderful. But Apple, it's all made in China. They're the ones that really should benefit. And then this new guy running Apple, how about this? He apologizes to the Chinese 2 months ago. He apologized to the Chinese. With all the jobs he's applied, he apologizes. So when you look at what we're doing, when you look at our leadership, when you look at the lack of intelligence, the lack of coherence, we have a long way to go. So the Republicans, though, despite all of the above, are going to have a very tough election. Hillary is probably assuming good health and all other things. I know her very well, and I know her husband very well. Hillary is probably going to be the nominee if you look at polls, if you look at everything. And it's going to be, in my opinion, a tougher race than the last race. I mean, really tougher. And somebody is going to have to emerge who's really smart and really tough, because Obama should have been beaten. Hillary's going to be tougher to beat. And the Republicans have to do what's right. If they don't pick the right person, and I mean the right person, perfect. It's got to be the perfect person. They are going to get drugged in the 2016 election. And that's not going to be a good thing. Because this country has to be brought back from the edge. This country has to be brought back from the edge. It's ready to go over. It can be saved, but there's a point at which it's going to be too late. So the Republicans have to get very tough and very smart, and they have to do it fast. You've got very important elections coming up in 14. You've got an unbelievably important presidential election coming up, but that's in a long while. It's a long time from now. We had the opportunity, and unfortunately, things didn't work out. But we have a country that has to be brought back. And it has to be brought back through great, great leadership. And if we don't pick the right person, we are not going to have great leadership, and this country is going to be in very, very deep and perhaps permanent trouble. So with that, I tell you that it's an honor to be here tonight. It's really an honor. And I loved flying in. I loved looking at all of the activity under that airplane. I see people just going to town and the beautiful farms and the beautiful acreage. It's just beautiful to see. I don't see that so much in New York. New York is a little different view. But I have many friends that live in Iowa, and they're great people. They're hardworking people. They're amazing people. And it's really been an honor to be with you tonight. And thank you all very much. Thank you. Thank you.